A congressional investigation has discovered 5 more fraudulent letters opposing the ACES bill sent to lawmakers from a lobbying group working with pro-coal organizations. The House Select Committee on Energy and Independence and Global Warming made the announcement on its website. These letters were purportedly from the NAACP, senior citizens groups, and a Hispanic advocacy group. Bonner and Associates is this lobbying firm hired by the American Coalition for Clean Coal Electricity, also a PR firm. The company sent 58 letters to lawmakers, and investigators say at least 13 of them were forged. Now, Bonner says the letters were sent by a temporary employee who has been fired. The ACCCE does not return phone calls or has so far not returned those or emails from Clean Skies News to comment for this newscast. Back in June, the House passed the ACES Act that establishes a cap-and-trade system to curb greenhouse gas emissions. It faces a tough uphill battle in the Senate right now. Representative Ed Markey, who co-authored the legislation, says, quote, "We have seen fear-mongering with senior citizens with health care. Now we are seeing fraud-mongering with senior citizens on clean energy." For more now, I want to turn to Lisa Lerer. She is covering this story for Politico. She joins us now live by phone from New York City. Lisa, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
How surprised are you by these fraudulent letters, or are you not surprised?
Well, I mean, this is just what happened yesterday is they discovered 5 more letters. So there are already some fraudulent letters out there. So discovering a few more isn't that surprising. I believe in total, Bonner and Associates, which is the grassroots lobbying firm, they specialize in sort of, getting citizens involved and things like that. They sent out 58 letters. So I know folks on the committee conducting the investigation expect to find more fake letters, more than the 13 that they've already discovered.
Okay, so you do expect more of these to surface. And how were these first discovered, or is it a natural process that letters like these are going to be investigated?
Well, they were first discovered by the first one was discovered by a media report, a small paper in Virginia, I believe. And then after that, more media groups and other advocacy groups started looking at these letters. They discovered a few more. I think the Washington Post discovered some, and then this investigation began. So that brings us to our total number of 13.
So do you in general think that on different issues with different legislation, other bills that go on, other rallies that get organized by industry, that this goes on a lot more than people might think?
It certainly might, right? I think part of the reason it was discovered on this issue was because it's such a hot issue and there's so many lobbyists and environmental groups and advocates involved with ACES that there's just so much scrutiny of everything that goes on with this climate and energy bill that it was easier to discover these sort of shady tactics that were being used.
Do you know anything about Bonner and Associates? Do they have a generally good reputation?
Bonner and Associates, actually, there's been news trickling out about them, but they have sort of a difficult reputation. They're apparently a very difficult place to work. Ex-employees say that it's like working in a sweatshop. They work their people really hard. Your salary is dependent on how many folks you get to sign your petition or how many letters go out or things like that. So it's a place where a lot of people work for a short period of time, maybe when they're in between jobs, when the administration changes here in Washington or something like that. But it's not considered a particularly a friendly, happy place to work is the sense I get from talking to ex-employees.
Okay, and how about their comment that one temporary employee took it upon himself to send out all of these letters and to commit this fraud, and so that this is what they want everyone to believe, and that now Bonner and Associates, that all is well there.
Right, that's what they're saying. They're saying that this was all the work of one temporary employee who's since been let go, and the group that they were doing the lobbying on behalf of the pro-coal group said that they're participating fully with the investigation, and they had no idea this was going on, as did another lobbying firm that subcontracted to Bonner and Associates, the Hawthorne Group, also claimed that they had no idea this was going on. But these are all questions the committee is still investigating, so we'll have to see how much this is a regular practice of what Bonner and Associates does, and whether these other groups that hired them really did have a sense for, or should have had a sense, that these letters might have been fake.
Right. Any reaction from the NAACP or these senior citizens groups?
There hasn't been much reaction yet. The groups were, of course, not very pleased with the fact that fake letters were sent out under their name, but they're also cooperating with the investigation.
Okay. Lisa Lerer from New York City for Politico, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And we appreciate it.